Hello, squirrel listeners. Let's see if my Kindle's fired up. Happy Sunday morning. Happy Father's Day to any fathers that we have out there. Maybe not listeners, but maybe some of my subscribers' hubbies. Or some man in your life. I don't have one, which is fine. Okay, Charlotta the Fourth. Okay, why do you call her Charlotta the Fourth? Asked Diana, who was bursting with curiosity on this point. Just, just to keep her from getting mixed up with other Charlottas in my thoughts, said Miss Lavender seriously. They all look so much alike, there's no telling them apart. Her name isn't really Charlotta at all. It is, let me see, what is it? I think it's Leonora. Yes, it is Leonora. You see, it's this way. When Mother died 10 years ago, I couldn't stay here alone, and I couldn't afford to pay the wages of a grown-up girl, so I got little Charlotta Bowman to come and stay with me for board and clothes. Her name really was Charlotta. She was Charlotta the First. She was just 13. She stayed with me till she was 16, and then she went away to Boston because she could do better there. Her sister came to stay with me then. Her name was Julietta. Miss Bowman had a weakness for fancy names, I think, Mrs. Bowman. But she looked so like Charlotta that I kept calling her that all the time, and she didn't mind, so I just gave up trying to remember her right name. She was Charlotta the Second, and when she went away, Evelina came. All pretty names. And she was Charlotta the Third. Now I have Charlotta the Fourth, but when she is 16, she's 14 now, but when she is 16, she will go to Boston too. And what shall I do then? I really don't know. Charlotta the Fourth is the last of the Bowman girls and the best. The other Charlottas always let me see that they thought it silly of me to pretend things. But Charlotta the Fourth never does, no matter what she may really think. I don't care what people think about me if they don't let me see it. Well, said Diana, looking regretfully at the setting sun, I suppose we must go if we want to get to Mr. Kimball's before dark. We've had a lovely time, Miss Lewis. Won't you come again to see me? Pleaded Miss Lavender. Tall Anne put an arm about the little lady. Indeed we shall, she promised. Now that we have discovered you'll wear... Now that we have discovered you, we'll wear out our welcome coming to see you. Yes, we must go. We must tear ourselves away, as Paul Irving says every time he comes to Green Gables. Paul Irving? There was a subtle change in Miss Lavender's voice. Who is he? I didn't think there was anybody of that name in Avonlea. Anne felt vexed at her own heedlessness. She had forgotten about Miss Lavender's old romance when Paul's name slipped out. He is a little pupil of mine, she explained slowly. He came from Boston last year to live with his grandmother, Mrs. Irving of the Short Road. Is he Stephen Irving's son? Miss Lavender said, bending over the namesake border so that her face was hidden. Yes, I'm going to give you girls a bunch of lavender apiece, said Miss Lavender brightly, as if she had not heard the answer to her question. It's very sweet, don't you think? Mother always loved it. She planted these borders long ago. Father called me Lavender because he was so fond of it. The very first time he saw Mother was when he visited her home in East Grafton with her brother. He fell in love with her at first sight, and they put him in the spare room bed to sleep. And the sheets were scented with lavender, and he lay awake all night and thought of her. He always loved the scent of lavender at night, and that was why he gave me the name. Don't forget to come back soon, girls dear. We'll be looking for you, Charlotta the Fourth and I. She opened the gate under the firs for them to pass through. She looked suddenly old and tired. The glow and radiance had faded from her face. Her parting smile was sweet, with ineradicable youth as ever. Oh, the dry mouth. Dry mouth and morning raspy voice. But when the girls looked back, they saw her sitting on the old stone bench under the silver poplar in the middle of the garden with her head leaning wearily on her hand. She does look so lonely, said Diana softly. We must come often to see her. I think her parents gave her the only right and fitting name that could possibly be given her, said Anne. If they had been so blind as to name her Elizabeth or Nellie or Muriel, she must have been called Lavender. Hang on. Hang on. She must have been called Lavender, just the same, I think. It's so suggestive of sweetness and old-fashioned graces and silk attire. Now my name just smacks of bread and butter, patchwork, and chores. Oh, I don't think so, said Diana. Anne seems to me real stately and like a queen. But I'd like Karen Happett if it happened to be your name. Kerrenhappuch. Karen Happett if it happened to be your name. I think people make their names nice or ugly just by what they are themselves. I can't bear Josie or Gertie for names but before I knew the Pye girls, I thought them real pretty. That's a lovely idea, Diana, said Anne enthusiastically, living so that you beautify your name, even if it wasn't so beautiful to begin with. Making it stand in people's thoughts for something so lovely and pleasant that they never think of it by themselves. Thank you, Diana. And that's all of chapter 21. So we'll stop there. Golly, it's only about 8 minutes. That's okay. Live at 3 today. Hope you'll come. I'll lift that bag up some more, that 2K bag, build my muscles up. Be sweet. Don't be ugly. Tea at 3 today. Be there or be square. Love you. Bye.